Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we have reveals for Duelist Nexus. We have two brand new URSARCTIC cards. I have not read either, but it's a new main deck monster. They need some new additions to those, and a new extract monster, which, depending on how it works, could be really crucial for them. All in all, though, this is an archetype that definitely needs a lot of help. That debuted in Ancient Guardians, one of the worst deck build packs in the last couple of years specifically. Even going back to like the very beginning of deck build packs, it felt like there was at least one archetype that ended up being somewhat relevant at the end of the day competitively, and now it feels like even the more recent ones are like, they're batting like 2 for 3, if not sometimes 3 for 3. So I'd like to see some really nice, support here, because Sulfur never ended up being good, and neither did Ogdoadic. I wouldn't hate it if Ogdoadic ended up getting support in here as well. They needed a shit ton. So let's get into it. This is the Space Bear archetype that loves to quick effect discard to special or tribute a level 7 monster from hand to special summon all their guys from hand, and then do some cool stuff. But let's see how these work out. This guy is Ultimate Knight Alpha Ursatron. Okay. So does this not have URSARCTIC in the name? Oh, okay, here we go. This card is always traded as an URSARCTIC and DRYTRON card. There we go. So there's technically DRYTRON support as well. We'll see how much it actually synergizes with them, but it does, to be honest, look more like a DRYTRON card than an URSARCTIC card. This is a level 7 water machine effect monster. 2,000 attack, 700 defense, so fine stats, but not that crazy for a 7. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by card effect. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control an URSARCTIC or DRYTRON monster other than itself, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can add one URSARCTIC or DRYTRON spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Wow. Yeah, this card's just really good for both of these archetypes. I will say, it would be so much better for DRYTRON if it was a 6, right? Because then they'd have such even more easy access to like Beatrice lines, but still like you still can't complain. It's just a body on field that's a high enough level to do most ritual summons, especially for those 6 or lowers, which are generally what we see a lot in the game nowadays. And also just gets you a plus. I mean, for DRYTRON, you're adding any of their spells or traps. The field spell gets another spell or trap. Then you can get the extender from there or anything else. Maybe this card makes the spells and traps a little more playable. Kind of depends, but really cool nonetheless. And then for this deck, I mean, it's just a raw +1. I mean, that's definitely welcome. It feels like a lot of their main deck monsters really neg you. You have to tribute another 7 from hand to summon them, and then some of them get a resource back right there. So at best, you break even with a lot of their main deck monsters. But most of them are like not even break evens. They're -1s. So this card being just a straight up +1 and getting you another 7 on the field is pretty nice. We'll take this card for sure. It is important that it can also be ashed, right? Because it's the summon and the add are all part of one effect. So if this card gets ashed in hand, it's doing nothing for you, but I guess it'd still be a 7 in hand to tribute for another URSARCTIC. So that's actually kind of okay. All right, very cool. Solid start. Not a bad card, definitely. Then we move to URSARCTIC Polar Star, a bigger version of the other little guy. That is also, I think, like a level 1 synchro, which, by the way, if you ever thought about it, makes literally no sense, because you have to have at least 2 level 1 monsters to make a level 2 synchro. You cannot physically, via the rules of synchro summoning, make this officially via standard ways. But yeah, this is a level 1 water machine synchro. 700 attack, 2,000 defense. So decent booty, but no attack. Cannot be synchro summoned. Well, yeah, I could have told you that. Must be special summoned from your X deck by sending 2 monsters you control with a level difference of 1 to the graveyard. 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. Very interesting. So this card is not a tuner, but I believe the whole situation here is this deck has level 8s and level 7. So you just want to put 1 of each on the field, and then 1 of which would be a tuner, 1 of which would be a non-tuner, I think. And then from there, you are able to just make this card. It's also important to note, this card does not need URSARCTICs at all. You can literally play any generic engines that get you a level 7 tuner, a level 8 tuner, a level 7 non-tuner, level 8 non-tuner, which is very interesting. In fact, it's even more generic than that now that I'm thinking about it. It doesn't even have to be 7 and 8. It's literally any 2 monsters that are 1 level apart, that one's a tuner, one's a non-tuner. very, very interesting. We can definitely find something spicy there, I'm pretty sure, generically, to abuse this card. Okay, here we go. You contribute 1 level 8 URSARCTIC monster from your hand or field, and this card, to special summon 1 level 7 URSARCTIC synchro monster from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, and if you do, it gains this effect. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters special summoned from the extra deck that have a level. Okay, so there's your payoff there. I was going to say this card, that's not that great of a payoff to start. The fact that you have to tribute this card and a level 8 URSARCTIC to summon 1 monster from the extra deck. But at least if you do, your opponent's going to be under a pretty dirty floodgate, which means synchros are negated. They cannot activate the effects of synchros. They cannot activate the effects of fusions. And I think that's mostly it. They can still do links and exceeds, which is important to note because they do not have levels. But, you know, locking out half of extra deck mechanics in the game is pretty good already. So, unfortunately, it's only from extra deck. It's not just any special summon monster. That would have made this so much better because even decks like Labyrinth, they summon Lady Labyrinth, but it can't activate its effects because it would have been a special summon monster with a level. But because this is only stopping stuff from extra deck, there's definitely a little bit of restriction there. So all in all, I mean, this card's easy enough to make, but it is a hefty cost of having to tribute it and another level 8 just to get yourself into another guy who's going to have a floodgate effect that's only really applying to, I would say, 45% of the decks in the game in true, like, brutal fashion. But, you know, especially when you know a matchup and it's post-side and you know a line to go for it and you're like, oh, this line's insane now because I know I'm playing a fusion deck. I know I'm playing, you know, a synchro deck, Sword Soul, whatever. You can go into these. So, pretty interesting. I don't know. Does this feel like it does enough? It's nice. I will say that. I really like the main deck monster. It's a very welcome addition that allows us to finally plus in the deck a little bit better without getting all the way through a combo. And then other than that, you know, this card is interesting. And I don't know all the ins and outs of this deck. It's never been really competitively relevant, and I've never personally messed around with it too much. So it's kind of hard for me to say if there's going to be any particular lines where this card is amazing because it's able to, you know, end on you're not just ending on this, obviously, but if you're able to end on this plus 1 or 2 other interruptions, and that's enough, we could definitely be in a position like that. But it's hard to say for me right now. But yeah, those are my overall thoughts. By the way, I've not dug too much into the leak, but I heard there was a leak for Duelist Nexus that said there was going to be dinosaur stuff, there was going to be Infernoble stuff, there was going to be URSARCTIC stuff. I think they also said Nemerelias. We kind of could have guessed Nemerelias though. And so, yeah, I think they also might have said Unchained. I think I saw somebody saying. I'll definitely be interested. In the comment section, feel free to let me know because I want to see more about that leak to see what might be coming up soon. And maybe I can do a video talking more in depth about those archetypes and what I would hope we get before we get it and see if we can kind of line up there. So if you've seen those and you know what they're talking about, either try to reference me to it in the comments or just let me know what else was leaked there. I'd love to hear that so we can go ahead and maybe do a video on it. But very cool nonetheless. If you're an URSARCTIC fan, please let me know your thoughts down below. Are these better than I'm giving them credit for? Are they worse than I'm giving them credit for? Any specific interactions that these cards have? Maybe with DRYTRON even, with the Ursatron here as well? Let me know down below. I'm definitely not super well versed in either of those archetypes, so I'm definitely open to some added info there. But I'm out of here for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay subscribed or subscribe if you have not yet for more news videos as stuff comes out. We are right smack dab in the middle of Duelist Nexus reveals. It's the first core set in a new era, so I'm expecting some good stuff here, but we'll obviously see. So I'm out of here for today. Thanks. Bye.